Hello and welcome to Lifestyle and Fashion Tea. I hopped on here real quick to talk about the four women, dumb, dumber, dumbass, and I guess we're going to call her How Dumb Can You Be or Dumbelina. I don't know, but we all know about the 10 inmates that escaped from the Louisiana, New Orleans Parish prison. And 5 have been caught, 5 are still out there. Why have 4 women been caught or been arrested? Now, I'm not even talking about the janitor, the superintendent, whatever you want to call him, the man fixing the toilet. I'm talking about 4 women. And the crazy thing was, I was getting ready to upload 3, Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbass. Now, Dumbelina. What in the world? Take a listen to this crap right here.
Yesterday in A-Meet, one inmate is seen on camera escaping from the Danville Parish Jail. And get this, it's the second time this inmate has escaped over the past year. Meanwhile, 5 inmates remain on the run from the Orleans Justice Center a week after that breakout happened. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Cherise Gibson, and tonight we have learned another person has been charged for allegedly helping the Orleans inmates escape. Trevon Williams is already an inmate in the Orleans Justice Center. Investigators say he helped with the initial jailbreak. And a woman who allegedly helped 3 of the escaped inmates is sitting in jail on a $1 million bond. And today, NOPD arrested Casey Smith, who's on your screen, after they say she helped them drive around once they broke out. Alyssa Curtis was inside of the courtroom when the judge set Smith's bond. Alyssa, how exactly are they alleging she helped?
Well, Cherise, according to the Attorney General's office, Casey Smith admitted to driving some of the escaped inmates around days after they broke out of jail. There's been some inconsistencies with the number of inmates she helped, but today in court they said 3. Her lawyer, though, says that is not entirely true. According to the judge, the warrant says Smith was a co-conspirator with someone who received a phone call from the inmates. We learned that the co-conspirator is Courtney Harris, and the 2 are allegedly cousins. The Attorney General's office says Smith confessed to helping the inmates yesterday, days after their escape last week. But Smith's lawyer says the person responsible is Courtney Harris, not Casey Smith. Her lawyer says Smith was simply in the car with her cousin, who got a call and later gave a few men a ride. Smith's lawyer says she didn't know who the men were, but the Attorney General's office says that is not possible, as these men's faces were plastered all over national news. Again, the AG's office says Smith confessed to allegations that happened yesterday. I do want to point out that Courtney Harris was arrested Wednesday. The judge again set her bond at $1 million. Cherise?
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. So every minute counts as this massive manhunt continues for these 5 fugitives. Derek Groves, he's 27 years old, and he's accused in 4 killings and convicted on 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of manslaughter. Linton Van Buren, he's 26. He's accused of second-degree murder. And then there's Leo Tate, 31 years old, and facing multiple gun and drug charges, plus burglary. Jermaine Donald, who is 42, he's the oldest of the group. He is awaiting trial for second-degree murder, and now a jail maintenance worker is charged with helping them get out. That is Sterling Williams. He's 33 and admitted to assisting the inmates, and he told investigators he was threatened by a stabbing by Antoine Massey, who is also one of the escapees, but Williams' attorney denies that claim. Massey was jailed in March, accused of car theft and domestic abuse by strangulation. We have a new look at the first 7 days of the jailbreak with a detailed timeline as victims, witnesses, and even prosecutors are forced into hiding. You can watch it anytime on WWL+. Just download this app on your television to watch for free.
New Orleans are tracking dozens of leads now, trying to find those 5 missing escaped inmates. Police have arrested 4 women who officials say aided the men and helped them avoid capture. CBS's New Orleans-based correspondent Katie Weiss reports on the progress a week after the jailbreak.
8 days since 10 inmates escaped from this facility and 5 are still on the run. Investigators say they had a lot of help. 4 women have been arrested, accused of supplying the escapees with food, money, and transportation. Jail plumber Sterling Williams was also arrested, accused of turning off the water before the inmates ripped this toilet from the wall.
The man was literally just doing his job.
Williams' defense attorney, Michael Kennedy.
The toilet's overflowing. He goes and he turns off the water, as is his duty as the jail plumber. And that was the end of his part of this.
New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick says her department has received more than 400 tips and executed nearly 40 search warrants.
We have gone to places with warrants where we know we just missed them. And so that's always a difficult thing. You know, you're so close.
Kirkpatrick is concerned about the sheriff's slow response to the escape. We were there yesterday when she got a call.
Are you going to be there yourself?
Asking her to send crime lab experts to process the scene because the sheriff's office still had not done it. Immediately, Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams and forensics crews began collecting evidence.
I mean, DAs typically aren't at crime scenes ordering fingerprint testing. That's not normal. Normally, the law enforcement agency that's responsible would have gotten that done.
So, Katie, like we said, here it is a week later. How are the police trying to find these guys?
Well, we know that facial recognition technology has helped them to find 2 of the inmates, and the police superintendent here in New Orleans says that she believes that 3 of the escapees are hiding out right here in the Big Easy. Maurice?
Every major event surrounding the Orleans Justice Center escape. Day 1, Friday, May 16th. Just after midnight, inmates started pulling on the door to his cell. No staff members were in the pod at this time, and a civilian monitor hired to watch the cameras had stepped away to go eat. Now, the sheriff's office knew these doors could be manipulated off the tracks, and inmates succeeded. They got into a cell where the water had apparently been turned off. Someone, either inside that cell or maybe out, sawed through rebar, bolts, and a pipe to make a hole. Here is the moment of freedom. You can see the inmates running out of the door around 1 o'clock in the morning. They have blankets with them that authorities say they used to not get cut by razor wire as they climbed a fence. And then they all ran across the interstate in front of cars. The hours that followed this would be crucial, but it apparently went totally unnoticed. Through a 6:30 a.m. shift change, not even realized until after 8:30 a.m. during morning paint. At some point, staff discovered the hole in the cell wall with "Too Easy, LOL" written above it. At 8:53, the jail was put on lockdown. 9:30, feds were notified. 10:30, NOPD notified. 10:50, Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office sent out a press release about the escape. Around 11:30 a.m., Troop NOLA, Louisiana State Police, took Kendall Miles into custody. He was apparently in the French Quarter and was arrested on Royal Street. That's around the same time that Sheriff Susan Hudson held her first news conference.
Top priority right now is the safety of the public.
The finger pointing started immediately. Sheriff Susan Hudson blamed funding troubles. The district attorney, Jason Williams, blamed her poor leadership. And everyone pretty much was furious about the communications breakdowns and other issues that led to an 8-hour head start before law enforcement was even notified about this escape. In reality, the escapees enjoyed 12 and a half hours of shots were sent out around 1:30 p.m. Finally, at 2:30 p.m., NOLA already sent out an alert, just as the sheriff implied for the first time this might be an inside job.
We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye.
Next, we learned that 3 jail employees had been suspended. At 7:30, a Crime Stoppers tip led law enforcement to escapee Robert Moody in Central City. And later that night, the Keenan Dennis was caught in New Orleans. Day 2, Saturday, we saw pictures of Miles, Moody, and Dennis being loaded into a helicopter to go to the Louisiana State Penitentiary. But 7 inmates were still on the run. This was terrifying for witnesses, victims, and families of victims. At least one of them went into hiding immediately after they heard about the escape. Also Saturday, we heard from Mayor Cantrell for the first time on Instagram. We saw a scene happening in New Orleans East, although it did not result in the arrest of an inmate. And the reward increased to $12,000 per inmate. Day 3, Sunday, there were no inmates arrested, but there were politics. First, we saw a new video from Project NOLA on the morning of the escape with Kendall Miles walking in the French Quarter along with a second man. The FBI and Governor Jeff Landry also held a press conference Sunday.
Turn yourself in.
Landry blamed District Attorney Jason Williams and criminal court judges in New Orleans and announced an audit and several investigations into the jail. Sunday, the reward increased to $20,000 per inmate for information. And the next day, the DA, Jason Williams, would come back at the governor with receipts.
Now do me a favor. If you like, no, matter of fact, if you don't even like it, I need you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you feel about Dumb, Dumber, Dumbest, and Dumbelina. Let me know. Do you think this was an inside job? Let me know in the comments. Do you think somebody's telling? Let me know in the comments. And if you see these men, I got to say it right. So, again, that number is 222-YOUTUBE. Thank you. And until the next video, keep talking about the channel. Watch some more videos. I don't know if I have a playlist. I got to put a playlist together. I don't know, but just go to the channel for right now until I get a playlist together. Y'all know I'm new. Do what you got to do. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.